Hi friends, after having discussed the first two sheets where we did talk about the basic elements of chart, the shortcut technique, how do you move across the chart elements by using the down arrow key, as you can see from the selection. And we also talked about how do you put two different charts in the same one. That is something similar to the sheet 2. Now we'll talk about one more basic chart which is called bar chart, the one which is given horizontally. In this case, I would want to also focus on few settings before we go and talk about some special charts in the next videos. Let's say I have information about funds being raised by different companies across the different sectors. So at one given point in time, banks were in need of funds the most, and that's the reason I can see it has been raising funds the maximum. Now I've arranged them in an ascending order using the sort. Now if I choose the data, I go to insert, I go to bar diagram and I choose the first basic one, which is clustered bar. Okay. Now the moment I make this default chart, let me just place it across so that I can compare. It isn't the same. What are the differences? Difference number one, I can see the access value which is given in 20,000 million, 40,000 million. Now alternatively, if I can show them in 10 billion, 20 billion, 30 billion, it would be more appropriate and easy to read. Certainly, I would want to highlight the bank in red separately. I would not want the legends out here because since it's the same values all across funds raised. And I would also want the values in one decimal. So it says 15.9 billion, $62.2 billion. So how do I convert it to that stage? Let's see. First things first, let me get rid of this legend. Let me press delete key. Let me choose the horizontal axis major grid lines, the one which I have chosen right now. Alternatively, you could have used the down arrow key to choose them and press delete. Now the most important part is I want to change the axis values in billion dollars such that it shows in thousands. So I choose the axis value. I go to right click and say format axis. Now there are so many options, it is very easy to get confused, so we'll take one at a time. Now first thing I would want is the display units should be in thousands. So there exists one option which says display units to be shown in thousands, and the moment I do that, you notice the zeros, the 000 has been shaved off. That is what I wanted. Alternatively, I would also want that they must show the value in the increments of 5, not in the increments of 10. So what do? There's axis options out here which says minimum, let it be 0, maximum which is 70,000, that is perfect. Major, now this talks about the incremental value, so let me make it 5,000, which represents increment of 5. So if I press close, you'll notice the numbers coming in. So even I have a better chart which gives me a more accurate value. Let me remove the thousands, and most importantly, you must change the heading from million to billion, otherwise everything will be incorrect. Now if I choose this particular bar, all the other bars have been chosen. So once again I choose it by clicking on that. Why? Because I want to choose it only this bank bar and go to format and change the shape fill to one in red. Now if I want to increase the width of the bar, what is the idea? How to do it? If I click outside, again click on the bar, all have been chosen. I right click on that and I go to format data series. So all these are individual data points. As a combination they are data series, so I want to format data series. Now within which lies one option which says no gap. Notice what happens. As I say no gap, their width is automatically increasing. That is what I wanted. Close. So after choosing the chart, to put the data labels, where should I go? Yes, to layout. So data labels, outside end. But if I put that outside end, what do you notice? I don't get that single decimal. So how do I ensure that I get the single decimal? I choose the value, data label value, all are chosen. Let me right click. Now as I say, format the data labels. So So let me go inside format data labels. Now from the number option, this is very similar to what we used to get when we used to right click on a particular cell and we used to get to format cells. So if I go to number, as you can see decimal place is 2. Let me make it 1 and let me press close. Of course I can make it bold from the home menu. So there you go. This is how it looks. The same chart with an added effect of changing the axis value, not just in terms of billions but also in terms of incremental value. So these axis options are very important. Do give it a try before we talk about the other important charts in the subsequent videos.